Live from New York, the show that's wishing you a very happy Martin Luther King Day. It's First Things First today. Okay, Professor Broussard, what grade are you giving the Cowboys?
Well, the grade is obvious. F! Okay. Where's the F?
Okay,
but you know what? As I thought about this, and we tried to get the biggest F we could get.
Okay, is this bigger than the last?
My goodness.
This is bigger.
It is?
Yeah,
it is. As I thought about this,
my notes are
I sat there and I said, you know what? This isn't good enough, or in this case, bad enough.
Bad enough.
Yeah.
This does not fully encapsulate how horrific that was yesterday, Nick Wright.
Yeah.
All right, so I had to create my own grade.
Wow.
I had to create something worse than an F.
What's that?
An F minus. All right, this is an F minus by the Cowboys.
We got it, yeah. All
right.
Wildes, you help him out here.
Because
I got you. Go ahead. You worry about your take.
An F is...
Rehearse this.
Yeah. Go ahead. You got it.
Not bad enough. Is this how we're doing it?
Yeah.
An F minus is not just getting beaten by a lesser team. An F minus is not just taking somebody lightly and losing the game. An F minus is reserved for a whole nother class of failure.
Yeah.
And that is when you choke. All right? The Cowboys yesterday of Dak Prescott, of Mike McCarthy, of Deron Bland, of Micah Parsons, of CeeDee Lamb choked. This wasn't just a loss. The moment was too big.
That's correct.
The pressure was too much. How else do you explain a defensive backfield that spent most of the season in the top 5, top 6-ish, letting guys run wide open like this? I mean, this is inexplicable. Look at that. There is not a Cowboy in the screen.
Drew, it's the most open any player has been in any game all year, literally. By next-gen stats, 17.2 yards between him and the closest defender on the
And Dobbs as well.
Yeah.
It happened time and time again. The only explanation... How else do you explain a team that had won 16 straight games at home? And they outscored their opponents by 172 points this season in Texas. And yet you are down 48-16 with a few minutes left to a team that was 9-8 and the youngest in nearly 50 years to make the playoffs?
Yeah, great.
How else do you explain a quarterback who had an MVP caliber season, who threw only 9 interceptions in 17 games, throwing 2 picks, one of them a pick 6 in the first half? How else do you explain a defensive front that led the league in pressures the entire season, only getting 4 pressures and no sacks against a 25-year-old quarterback making his first playoff start?
Good job.
That's it.
That's what I thought.
And I could go on for the rest of the show, but I won't. We can't do that. All right, but yesterday what we saw was the greatest example of one of my greatest rants. The tomato can.
Yeah, well, it is your
right. And how ironic and fitting that a team that spent all season bashing and bruising and muscling up against tomato cans turned out to be the greatest tomato can of them.
The Cowboys are a tomato can?
Yes. The Dallas Cowboys are a playoff tomato can.
Oh, that's the worst.
2016, we're the number 1 seed, doesn't matter.
No.
2021, we're the number 3 seed, doesn't matter.
Don't fall.
2023, we're the number 2 seed, does not matter because the Cowboys are playoff tomato cans. Period.
Excellent job.
I mean, well done.
Several of your greatest hits in there.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. Wildes?
Yes.
if I may just quickly for me.
Oh, really quick. Do you want to address that it was Nick's Super Bowl?
No, I got it. I'll take care of that. I promise. That's exactly what I was about to do.
Yeah, no, if I may. I don't care if the Eagles get beat by 100.
Okay. Well,
I'm not here a thing.
If I may. Classic Category 3 by me.
Oh, man.
Irrevocably, unequivocally wrong. And what makes it worse is it is Bruce, maybe his first ever Classic 1.
Classic.
Instantly correct. Everything Bruce said all year. Let me give you your props. Everything Bruce said all year was correct. Getting fat and happy on tomato cans. Check. Dak, even if he put up, Bruce said before the season, even if Dak Prescott were to win league MVP, he would not necessarily believe he's an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an insane statement. And then we saw a circumstance where Dak had, at the very least, an MVP caliber season, one that as recently as Friday of last week, I was arguing should have him in a coin flip for MVP with Lamar, maybe a weighted coin in Lamar's favor, but then proven exactly right by how he did in the playoffs. All the McCarthy stuff, too much talk, all of it was right. So now, if I may just quickly go through the football stuff that happened. I don't know who should be more embarrassed from when it comes to the Cowboys, but I'm going to start on the defense.
Yeah.
Micah and Dan Quinn and the defense as a whole, what the hell was that? I don't know, maybe Dan Quinn was distracted by the Seattle job coming open. I'm not being sarcastic about that. I know,
some time,
and I know that he's got 4 interviews lined up we found out about today. So maybe that's human nature, but that's what they did yesterday and what they allowed Matt LaFleur to do to them was humiliating. And Micah getting just washed out of that football game was humiliating for a guy who talks like and usually plays like one of the best players at his position of his generation. Then there's Dak, who now, and this is a brutal spot, because this is where now his great regular season works against him. And it should. Because Dak is now a known regular season only quarterback. Can we show you the quarterbacks who have the active quarterbacks, most regular season wins with less than 3 playoff wins? What do all those guys have in common? You don't trust them come the postseason. No, yeah, and I know Dalton, it seems unfair,
Dalton,
but
I don't know.
But Andy Dalton, when he was winning 10 games every year in Cincinnati, that's what we thought. When Ryan Tannehill had the 1 seed, that's what we thought. Kirk Cousins, when they won 13 years, 13 games last year, that's what we thought. And the part that Bruce said, but I want to emphasize, Dak was frightened. Dak, you saw his eyes. The moment the game was 7-0, you could feel it. And I'm not trying to be the body language doctor, but you don't have to be. And then he had 4 separate opportunities before the game got away from him to help the Cowboys either stay close or be right there. Down 7-0. All of a sudden, down 7-0. They punch us in the mouth. The next drive you punt, the next drive he throws what could have been his first pick six was just a pick. Down 14-0. Okay, this is getting tough. You're in field goal range. You have a 3rd and 5. All you have to do is not take a sack. He creates a sack, and then McCarthy doesn't let Aubrey kick the field goal. Down 20-0. I tweet, oddly not dead. Go score, you get the ball at halftime, 20-14 next time Green Bay touches the ball, and all of a sudden the pressure's on them.
They were dead.
2-minute warning, the ball's at the 40. And he throws one of the worst pick sixes of the year and an underrated mistake. When the game felt over but down 27-0 right before the half, he does the one thing you can't do. He threw it short of the end zone and the half would have ended, but they got bailed out because of the penalty. That was 4 egregious mistakes. And then, of course, there's McCarthy, who I know we'll get to. But listen, everything Bruce said all year was right. And when I say I hate saying that, I want you guys to know I'm having like an allergic internal reaction right now.
It's okay, man.
It's okay. It is. And for Dak, I think this hurts the most because he now is in a spot where he literally can have an MVP level year and people will rightfully doubt him moving forward, especially because he did look like the moment was too big for him, and it was the first round of the playoffs against a 7 seed.
And he's a veteran. It's not like he's in his 3rd year where, okay, you can forgive it.
Correct.
No.
Totally agree.
Jerry Jones talked all year about how this team was Super Bowl ready, and now they're all headed for vacation, and maybe some people won't be coming back. Here's Mike McCarthy and Jerry. Okay. Brew, should McCarthy be fired?
I think yes. All right. I mean, he was undressed yesterday by the guy who replaced him in Green Bay. They weren't ready offensively. They weren't ready defensively. I mean, they were a mess against, again, the youngest team in the playoffs since 1974. All right. And now, look, he's obviously had the 3 great regular seasons, but they are 1-3 under him in the playoffs. 2 of those losses are at home.
In the first round.
And here's the quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a winner, but still, all right? A rookie Brock Purdy who was making his 7th start. That's not even Brock Purdy now.
Yeah.
That is your 7th start. And then yesterday, Jordan Love.
Or not a rookie, but a first-year starter.
Yeah, first-year starter, first playoff game ever. Yeah. And if you're S-Bob, Super Bowl or bust, which we know they are, and this year, more than anything, they should have been. Things were falling in line. Now, they still would have had to get by San Francisco. But everything else was falling in line from them. And you are at home, and everything went opposite the way it did regular season. They didn't score. I don't care about the 32 points. We know they didn't score when they needed to.
48-16.
And you were averaging almost 40 at home during the regular season. So, yeah, look. There's one name. I don't know who it would be other than this guy, but if Jerry Jones is serious about winning a Super Bowl, then he should have been on the phone last night with Bill Belichick, working out what do you need from us. I'm serious. Belichick will fix the defense, which is probably their biggest problem. I mean, Dak, obviously you got questions, but they ran all over that defense.
Oh, I disagree. Defense is the biggest problem. I think right now my biggest concern is the quarterback play come the playoffs. That would be my biggest concern.
I mean, he was bad. I can't defend that.
Because the defense over the – I don't –
They get run on, though.
They do get run on, but I thought that was more of a coaching – I thought that was Matt LaFleur saying, I know what you're going to do, Dan Quinn, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And Dan Quinn, listen, like I said, he was in the head coaching, circles as far as if McCarthy gets fired, could he get the job, whatever it is. Listen, obviously Mike McCarthy should be fired. That is not too harsh. That is not too reactionary. That is the standard right now. I want to show this 12-win graphic again because we expanded it. So I know that's a lot of information, so I'll distill it for you. That's all the teams that have had at least 3 straight 12-win seasons. Yeah. And what you'll see is all of them made at least one, if not multiple, conference championship games at the very least. And all of them made a Super Bowl, or if they didn't, they had already won a Super Bowl with that quarterback there. So the Packers, the Saints, and the Niners during that run didn't go to a Super Bowl, but they had won one previously. I mean, of those, I did the math here. 46 times, you add all those up together aside from the Cowboys, you have 32 conference championship game appearances, 18 Super Bowl appearances, 11 Super Bowl wins. The Cowboys are zeros across the board. Yeah. So here's to me the more complicated part of it, Wildes, and this is what I want to throw at you. I agree with Brew. I'd try to go hire Bill Belichick. If I can't get Bill Belichick, and I'm going Vrabel or Jim Harbaugh or Eric Bieniemy, a younger coach, whatever it is, the next conversation I'm having is, okay, if it's Belichick, we are trying to win right now in a 3-year win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's not Belichick, the next conversation I'm having is, would we rather have Dak Prescott at $60 million a year or call up a team like New England and see if they'll give us the 3rd pick of the draft for him?
I mean, Mac Jones.
Now, by the way, Dak has a no trade, so he'd have to play ball. But Dak is going to be looking for a contract extension this offseason that will make him the highest paid in the league.
And they need to give it to him to get some room.
Well, and they need to give it to him if they want to keep him. And if they don't give it to him, they not only don't create the room, but you can't tag him in a year. He could leave for nothing in a year. And if I am looking over the Cowboys and I say CeeDee Lamb deserves a ton of money, is going to get it. Yep. Micah Parsons deserves a ton of money, is going to get it. Do I think we are going to be able to essentially have those 2 superstars and one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league and then tear everything else away, or try to reset the quarterback pay scale clock with a top 5 pick.
It's basically the Niners strategy.
Exactly right.
That's the Niners.
Exactly right.
We agree on McCarthy. Got to go. I'm keeping Dak. As bad as he was yesterday, and I don't think he's elite. You clearly can't put the team on his back. That's what happened. He can beat up on the tomato cans as the guy, but they need a run game. Belichick, if he comes, bring back Zeke. I need a little toughness. I need somebody to take some of the pounding away from Tony Pollard. But look, Nick, when you don't have that quarterback, and there's no guarantee you're getting him with the 3rd pick, when you don't have that quarterback, it is tough. Dallas has been there before. I mean, unless they saw something magical from Trey Lance in practice. All right, I can't move on. They spent 20 years trying to get to Dak Prescott.
I'm surprised you haven't brought this up, Brew, because we've run through all your greatest hits. The one thing we haven't touched on is silly franchise. And here's why.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Dolphins lost. I didn't hear from the owner of the Dolphins. If the Chiefs somehow would have lost,
right.
But I don't think we'd hear from the owner of the Chiefs. Rams lost. We didn't hear from Stan Kroenke. Cowboys lose, and there's 1,000 microphones around Jerry Jones. So do you think there's a part of this rebuild or reset, whatever you want to call it, where Jerry Jones looks in the mirror and said, you know what, maybe a little Taylor Swifty. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's me.
Well, I've always said that the culture he has set, I don't believe is conducive to winning big. Now, you can be a good regular season team, maybe win a playoff game or two. You can't win big, I don't believe, with him talking every week. And we saw all the other players, it spills down.
Yes.
They're all talking Super Bowl. Instead of talking Packers, and I didn't jump on them last week, but Dak and Micah, they're talking about Super Bowl.
Correct.
And that's this from Jerry. So I don't think Jerry would look in the mirror and do it himself. But if he does talk to Belichick, I would hope Belichick would be like, look, no, you got to be respectful with him. But look, I think Jerry, part of the issue is just I don't want you talking every week.
I think Belichick
he don't need to say nothing.
Could make it a prerequisite of taking the job. I'm the voice of the franchise while I'm here.
And by the way, I'm not going to say anything.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to say, we're focused on the president.
And that's going to reset the culture.
But that would.
And it'll make them more
But if
you won't be silly under Belichick.
Everyone is assuming Mike McCarthy is going to be fired. I think that's the correct assumption. The next assumption everyone's making is that Bill Belichick is going to want this job. He might. But Belichick
can wait till.
Also, if Belichick agrees with my general premise, which is Dak is a good quarterback who is about to get paid like he is the best, Belichick's whole history says he doesn't believe in that.
No.
Right.
At any player at any position, wouldn't even pay Tom Brady like he was the best when he was actually the best because he looks at it very cold and calculated. So I don't know. They're in a very rough spot.
Plus, he can wait. He's Philly might be there.
Okay, completed 76% of his passes, 272 yards, 13 yards a pass, it's first down. 6 20-yard completions, passer rating nearly perfect. It's the best by any quarterback versus the Cowboys. So, Nick, were you surprised by Jordan Love's performance?
I mean, I was surprised in that game, obviously. I thought the Cowboys were going to roll, but in the macro, and I needed it. Classic 2.
When was this a classic 2?
What do you, Brew?
I don't remember.
Oh, really?
You guys don't remember? We both picked them to make the playoffs. I don't remember you singing his praises.
Far before that, last year, when I was saying, hey, maybe let Jordan Love start at the end of the season. Maybe that Jordan Love that we just saw, maybe they would have beaten the Lions. Because here's what I know: that's the best playoff game any Packers quarterback has played in 7 years. Look it up. That's the best. So sorry, Aaron. It's just the facts. And by the way, Jordan Love, where he does deserve credit, and then Brew, you take it. Here's Jordan Love. We can show you the numbers over the last 2 months of the year.
Crushing.
I mean, it's not only is the team an awesome 21-1 touchdown interception ratio. So shout out to him. I mean, he's been absolutely great.
Well, look, Nick, you're right. From that point to what we've seen to date, I mean, it looks like their third straight great quarterback is right there already. All right, and I think everybody was surprised, except maybe Jordan Love, by what he did yesterday. Okay, and we both liked him. That's why we picked him to make the playoffs in the preseason. What I saw from him last year, the growth over the year before, I just thought, okay, this kid has it. I didn't know if he'd be this good, but he has something special. And obviously he showed it yesterday. And I think the other thing, Nick, he shows, and there are exceptions, C.J. Stroud, for example. But some of these teams, and more often than not, they're making mistakes by throwing the quarterback right. He's fresh out of college, and you're throwing him right in there to be the starter, and expecting him
the whole draft class.
and expecting him to carry the team again. A Burrow, a Stroud, occasionally, but some guys, even Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes. Look, we don't know what he would have done his first year, but he did sit. All right, and so being able to sit, it takes a little of the pressure off. And you can learn what you didn't know in college. And so I think other teams got to – I get the financial reasons. But they got to
take advantage of that window. And if I may, we're going to get more on Jordan Love later in the show, and I know we're going to get to the Chiefs. But I've reserved banners only for the Chiefs to mock the Bills. Brew deserves one. Brew was right. Brew was right, guys. Oh, no. This is oh, there it is. Oh, no.
I knew it was a setup.
I told him to put a cowboy logo. I said a cowboy logo.
Where's the real photo?
I said that's a miscommunication.
Where is the real? We spent 45 minutes 2 weeks ago getting the muscle up.
Miscommunication. That was supposed to be the Cowboy star.
It's not bad.
I said the Cowboy.
It's not bad.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.